You are here on purpose with a purpose by design. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Purpose by Design. I'm so glad that you are here. And today you're going to be so blessed. We have an amazing guest with us today. And this amazing guest is someone that I consider a friend, as well as someone that I work with. And together we support the most amazing Bob Proctor coach or consultant, Jon Talarico. And you are going to hear all about the Million in You and Jon's programs. And the best person to explain all of that is my dear friend, Fernanda, who is here with us today. Fernanda, welcome. So glad you're here.
Thank you, Pamela. Super excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you have been a huge, important factor in all the impact that Jon and his program have made on my life. And I'm so grateful to you. And I'm so grateful to Jon. And to be a part of this program from really sort of a grassroots up type of position has been so fun to watch it evolve. And we're going to get into that in just a few moments and talk more about it. But I just wanted to say from my heart to you, like having you here right now and to be able to honor Jon this way and really give honor to you is a dream come true for me, because you guys have made a huge impact and difference in my life. So thank you.
Thank you, Pamela.
So with no further ado now, everybody, you know that I don't read bios and I don't always pronounce last names great. So I go with first names and then let my lovely guest introduce themselves. So Fernanda, who are you?
Thank you, Pamela. Well, my name is Fernanda Castaneda. A little bit difficult to pronounce the last name. And I am the COO of The Million in You company. This is the company that Jon Talarico created as a top 1% consultant in the world, where we teach people how to set and achieve great goals, how to go after the life that you desire, how to accomplish those dreams and those goals that you know that they are somewhere in here, but you just don't know how to make them come to reality. And so over the time of 6 months, we work with individuals all over the world. We're in over 17 countries right now, helping individuals really connect with the greatness within, with the million within them. That's why the company is called The Million in You, and really get that greatness out into the world. You came here with a purpose. There is something here that you do better than anyone else in the world. There is a purpose in your life, for your life, and really getting that purpose out, and for you to live your passion, your purpose, your mission, and really enrich the world by doing so.
Wow. And you guys are doing just that. It's amazing to be a part of. You know, you mentioned all the different countries, and I just want to back up the train for just a minute, because I have the privilege of hosting one of your office hours or open hours every week. And today in goal achievement, just check this out, everybody. There was 5 different countries represented in goal achievement. Now, I have had the pleasure of leading different classes at different places over the years. I have not been in a class of, there was 10 of us. Now, there's a lot more people than 10 that are in this program, but to have a class of 10 that is reaching out into 5 different countries, that's huge. And the impact that every person is making in their country, and their wisdom and the things that they're sharing, and we're learning and we're growing together, is so phenomenal. So I just wanted to come in and back that up and say, Fernanda is not just talking that. This is actually the reality. I mean, we had I'm trying to remember which country it was that was in South America. I'm sorry, I don't remember right now. Then there was also Belgium. There was Canada. And then there was someone that had an Israeli background and has recently come to America, but Israel is their home. And then we had Jamaica. So that's 5 plus. We had America. So that's really 6 that was there in a group of 10. So tell me, are we going to influence each other and get a global mindset in that situation? You absolutely are. So this program is definitely reaching internationally and affecting the world with greatness. So thank you so much for sharing that, Fernanda. And I just want to, turn it over to you and say, share your story with us. How did you end up here? And then kind of like your transition from coming in to becoming the COO, and tell us about these programs and how people get involved. So just
Of
go
course.
ahead, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, everything started for me about 2 years ago. I am in the medical field. My background is in the medical field. I have a license as a nurse practitioner, and I had been doing that for the past 5 years. My medical background is in nursing, so I've been a nurse for over 10 years now. So I'm working in clinic, and I am also battling with my own depression and anxiety, and so I'm also trying to heal myself, following the advice that I'm giving my patients. Right, take this medication, go to counseling. You're gonna feel better, and so I'm doing the same thing. Right, I'm going to counseling. I'm taking all these medications, and I'm not feeling better. So at that point, I start questioning, is what I'm doing with my patients really fixing the problem?
Mm.
And it's not just about depression, it's not just about anxiety, it's about diabetes, it's about blood pressure, hypertension. Because I would see patients with diabetes, and we'll test their blood, and we know where their levels are. And so I would adjust medications, and I would tell them, like, go out and do more exercise, eat better, come back and see me in 3 months. And then 3 months later, it's even higher. So I'm upping the medications and seeing them 3 months later and doing this routine, right, over and over. So I start questioning, is this really healing?
Right.
Is this really helping one, or enabling the behavior, right? Enabling the lack of exercise, enabling the stress that we're living under. And so as I'm having these conversations in my head, and I'm not feeling better myself, I start kind of just going down a rabbit hole of even more depression, even more anxiety. I started going to work without having any desire to go to work, but it was paying the bills. I was getting paid really, really good money seeing patients in clinic. And I've never done anything on my own, really, like the entrepreneur route or anything. I had always been an employee. And so I was going through a very tough situation, what I perceived to be a very tough situation at that moment in my life. Going to work, not enjoying my work, also having personal issues, and dealing with this depression and anxiety, and then feeling like what I was doing wasn't really helping, but enabling, and all these things. And one day, as I'm driving to work and really feeling at my lowest, I screamed, like, out loud. And I've never done this before. I screamed out loud, please, God, help me, help me. I need to feel better. I really felt that I could not live my entire life feeling this way. Like, I would have not been able to make it. On my way back from work, on the same day, out of nowhere, and I'm telling you, out of nowhere, this video came up on my YouTube. Okay, I was playing salsa. I'm Hispanic, so I'm playing salsa music. The song ends, and then this video starts playing. The video is called The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. Now, I've never heard of Earl before, or any motivational speaker whatsoever. I didn't know anything about personal development, anything about motivation, anything about mindset. It was completely oblivious to me, right? So the video came on, and I'm right away like thinking about switching it, like skipping the video, right? Something inside of me said, listen, now, if you've never heard Earl Nightingale before, he has a very monotonous like voice and tone, and it's kind of like, quote unquote, boring. But something said to me, listen to it. So I stayed glued, listening to the video, actually paying attention to what the video is saying. It's a 32-minute video. By the end of those 32 minutes, something in me had shifted. Something. So I get home, I was driving, I get home, and I'm like, I need to find out more. Like, what is this? Right? He's saying that I have control over my emotions. Wait a minute, like, what? He's saying that I have control over my life. He's saying that my destiny, I should be in the driver's seat. That what I'm planning on my mind, it's up to me. And all these things that I had never really thought of or considered, and they were life-changing things that I listened to on that day. It was a day in September. So I get home and I start Googling Earl Nightingale, and then these other people come up, like Bob Proctor and Les Brown and Dr. Wayne Dyer and all these people. I'm like, wait a minute, like, who are these people? So I started listening video after video after video. And then I started noticing that a lot of these people have books. So I'm like ordering books after books after books. I am a very good student, and I've always been a very good student. I've always succeeded in academics. I graduated with honors. So I did the same thing here. I started navigating into these mindset and personal development topic that was completely unknown to me up to that moment in my life. As I'm doing this, I start realizing that I had the power of my mindset, that my thoughts were controlled by me and my thoughts did not control me. Up to that moment, they had been, but it didn't have to be that way. So I started doing the work. I started working on being more aware and consciously aware of my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I started thinking in a different way and consciously making an effort to think differently every single day so I could feel different. I start consciously working on meditation every single day and practicing gratefulness and all these other things. And I start feeling different. And in a matter of like a few days, I'm already feeling a little bit different. So I'm like, okay, there is something to it more, there's a solution here.
Yes.
So anyway, I continue to do the work every single day. Within 3 months, I'm completely out of medications. I'm feeling probably the best that I have felt in over 5 years. And so but I'm still feeling like I'm trapped at work. I'm still seeing patients and I'm still prescribing more medications and I'm still doing that. So I come up with, okay, I want to start sharing the message, but I don't feel comfortable on camera. I'm shy. And that was the story that I was telling myself. So I'm like, I cannot be selfish. This is something that people need to hear more of, right? And especially being Hispanic, being able to reach to Hispanics with this message is very important. So I started getting myself on camera. I started doing lives. And then I listened to Les Brown. And Les Brown is like, okay, he's the greatest motivational speaker, in my opinion, of all time. So I started listening to him, and he has a program where he's teaching people how to communicate better. So I'm like, okay, I got to join that program, right? So I joined the program, and then I come across Jon. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what is he doing here, right? And so he's saying to people in that program, like, book a call with me and my team. I can help you get any goal and blah, blah, blah. And my goal was like, I just want to feel better. I don't know what's next for me, but I just know that what I'm doing right now as far as work is not making me happy. Like, I'm feeling better emotionally. My depression, anxiety, all gone. I'm medication free, but I'm still having that feeling when I go to work, I'm not happy. And so I get on a call with Jon, and he's telling me what he does and all these amazing things that he and the program, the 6-month program, teaches and all these things. And I'm like, it's too good to be true, right? It's that voice in my mind, right?
Yes.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna think about it. And when I finish that call, I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm not doing that. I had never done coaching in my life. My background is, you don't need that. That's a lie. It's rip off. Like, people are trying to rip you off. You can do it on your own. You can do it if you work really hard. All these things. You can do it if you reach, like, if you read a lot of books. I had done that, but yet I knew that I needed more help. So eventually I end up saying, okay, you know what? If I'm going to take my life to the next level, and if I really am not in a good place right now, what could be the biggest risk that I'm going to be out, X amount of money? It's okay. I was okay with that at the moment. So I took the job, I enrolled in his program, and within 3 months, my life completely changed.
Wow.
I ended a really unhealthy relationship. My relationship with my kids improved 180 degrees. I started feeling much happier. I made a decision that I wasn't going to work in the medical field anymore, despite what anybody else said. After being in school for 11 years and saying I'm not going to do that anymore, to everybody, that was a crazy thing, right? Because I spent a lot of time and money and effort in school, and I didn't know what was next. So then Jon comes to me and he says, hey, I want to grow my Spanish market. So why don't you come on board and you help me with that? I said, sure, of course. I believe 100% in what you're doing. It's working for me. I know it's working for many other people, because when you connect on the calls and you feel the energy, it's like a whole different world.
Right.
And so, it's not just you, everybody around you, it's getting massive wins and their life is changing. And so I jumped on board, and within 3 months, he's asking me to step in as the CEO of the company. And so everything changed. I can't tell you enough how things start aligning once you start working on yourself.
Mhm.
And if we fast forward a year, of course, I'm the COO. We have an amazing company where we are really focused on helping people that are lost, helping people that are confused, helping people that just don't know how to take their life to the next level, helping people that have goals, dreams, desires, that know that they can do more and achieve more, get to that point in their lives. Because if you feel it, if you see it, if you imagine it, it's there as a possibility, and we just need to connect with that possibility.
Wow, Fernanda. Okay, now this is amazing stuff that you're saying. This is like this is the stuff people dream about, right? And it is your dream, but it has become your reality. This is
Mhm.
your life now. That you said within 3 months you were off of medication. Now this is before you even plugged into this program,
Mhm.
but you plugged in to a form of the program. You found an answer that was working. You said in 3 months you were off of medication. Now, I'm sure throughout your journey, you had tried to get off of medication before and it was unsuccessful. What was different this time that you got off of it and have been off of it? What was different this time?
So, one of the major things, and there were a lot, but one of the major things was realizing that my thoughts are kind of like a channel in the TV, right? If
Mhm.
I turn on the TV and I don't like what it's playing, I can always change the channel, and I can find a TV show that I really enjoy, or a radio, right? If I turn on the radio and the radio is playing music that I don't like, I can change the station to a music that I like. And so the thoughts are the same way. Now, I didn't know that before, believe it or not. And so, whatever was coming through my mind about, I hate my life, I feel depressed, what if it doesn't work? But remember what happened just 2 months ago. Oh my God, today is the anniversary of whatever, right? And so,
Right.
all of these thoughts that were keeping me stuck, really imprisoned in the past, or in possible future scenarios that, of course, have not even happened and didn't even happen, right? They
Right.
were imprisoning me to feeling a certain way. And I didn't know that I could change the channel. So once I realized that I actually have control of my thoughts and I can change the way that I think, and by changing the way that I think, I change the way that I feel. And by changing the way that I feel, I'm changing my vibration, and therefore I'm attracting different things. That was a game changer,
Mm.
huge game changer, right? And so I did more of that every day of my life. When I would wake up and I would feel a certain way, I'm like, wait a minute, I have control. Let me change my thoughts. I love my life. I love myself. I enjoy myself. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. Look at the trees. Look at the animals. Look at these. And so I have food. I have a body. I have health. I have my kids. I have my family. And so I changed the way that I looked at things, and the things that I looked at changed,
Oh,
right?
I love that.
And the second thing was also knowing that only in the now I could make a change. And so once again, I was living a lot in the past, I was living a lot in the future, but not enough in the present, because the present was really taken by the past and the future. So when I started noticing and realizing that only I could make a difference right now in my future, I'm like, okay, well, if I continue to go the way that I'm going, then my future is going to look more like it has been, right?
Mm.
Because I'm creating from what is already happening. And so if I want to create a different future, then I have to take different action. And I can only take action in the now, like right now as I am. And so what are the actions that I need to take? What are the things that I need to do so I can feel better tomorrow and the next day and the next day and
Right.
the next day? And so I started making different choices every day, different choices of the way that I thought, the way that I acted, the way that I felt, the way that I communicated, the way that I presented myself, the way that I did everything, right? And we say that it's not about the things that you do, it's about doing things in a certain way. So I started learning about a certain way at that point in my life. And so I noticed that things started changing, and a little bit more and a little bit more. And really, this thing works if you apply it every day, if you do it every day, if you change your thoughts, if you change your feelings, if you change your paradigms, your that story that you tell yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? The way that you communicate. I was like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. Of course I was depressed and I was anxious. That was the way that I was communicating, right?
Right.
If you say I'm always sick, of course you're always going to be sick. But so I started communicating, well, I'm so happy, I am so excited, I am so calm, I am so confident, I am so this and I am so that. And so I started feeling more like it.
Right. Right.
And that is huge. The way that you communicate has a tremendous impact in how you feel and what you manifest, what you actually attract in your life.
Yes, absolutely. And do you think that that mindset change that you had 3 months in, mindset change, you're off of medication, you said you felt the best that you had in 5 years. Do you think that mindset change made it easier for you to take that plunge and that jump and join the program?
Yes, because I recognized at that point, and I read a really, really instrumental book. One of the first books that I read when I started learning about mindset was the Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Okay.
Now, Michael Singer in that book talks about the voice in your head. Again, I had never even realized that all of us, have a voice that never stops. It never gets quiet, right? And the voice is just your comfort zone, your own protection, like keeping you stuck in your comfort zone, right? And so every time that I was gonna do something, the voice would tell me it's not gonna work. You've tried it before. You've done this again. Like, what makes you think that it's gonna work out this way? Or those what ifs. I really want to do something different. You can't do that. Like, what makes you think that people are gonna listen to you, et cetera, right?
Right,
So
right.
acknowledging, being aware, and recognizing that voice was instrumental on me joining the program. Because like I mentioned, right, I talked to Jon and I hung up and I'm like, never gonna happen. And then
Right.
as I started like sitting with myself in quietness and meditating, I would be aware of these thoughts coming to my mind. And the thoughts were like, that's never going to happen. That's another program that is going to rip you off. Like, you're just going to be off, I don't know how much money. And, what makes you think? And, you don't need that. You can do it on your own and all these things. But I'm like, that's a story. Like, it's just a story. It's not the reality, right? And if he really is who he says he is, and if he really can do the things that he says he can do, like, my life is going to change 180 degrees, right? And so all I needed to do was jump with faith.
Mm.
And I would not been able to do that if I did not acknowledge and recognize that all of the things that were going in my mind was simply a voice to keep me in my comfort zone, to keep me from growing. So
Yeah,
that was the major deciding factor, acknowledging and recognizing that it was just a story in my head.
I love that. Acknowledging and recognizing that it's just a story in my head and that we have the authority, the ability to change the story.
You
Nobody
always.
else does. We have it, right, Fernanda? That's our job, is to change it. We will believe ourselves more than anybody else, won't we?
Mhm.
Powerful,
And
powerful.
and you understand now. I understand now that I cannot ever do anything that I don't believe, really, truly believe in myself.
Mhm.
Right? If I don't think something's possible, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
Right? And so if you think, for example, I heard it many times, and I probably even said it many times to my patients, right? Oh, that's something that you're going to have for the rest of your life. You just have to take medications for the rest of your life. Now, if I would have had this knowledge before, I would have never said that. Never said that. Because the moment that you say it and someone believes it, it's a done deal. Once you believe in something, that becomes your reality. If you believe that you are not able to be successful, if you believe that you are not smart, if you believe that you're not pretty, if you believe that you're not successful, if you believe that you are not going to be able to do something, it's just simply not going to happen. That belief has to come first before anything else.
And that belief is what transitioned you.
Exactly.
that moment where that video came on and you listened and then continued to contemplate it and let it settle in. I love how you focused on that belief. So for those that are listening, that belief, you are probably having that tennis match going on in your head back and forth. What Fernanda is saying is that you can change that tape that's playing in there. You get to pick the story. It's just a story, and you can change the story. Now, here the story has been changed for Fernanda, and now she's going to take that leap of faith and get into the program. So, what did you find was the difference, Fernanda, between, like, you could have just continued to been a great student and read the books and apply everything, because obviously it was working for you. You were off medicine. You said you had a 180-degree different relationship with your children. You were a very different person now. What made the difference once you got into the program? Because obviously you believe in it because you stayed, and
Mhm.
now you're the COO of the entire organization, of the whole company. So why should people not do it on their own and jump in to a program, to Jon's program? Tell us about that. Unpack that a little for us.
Of course. So, one of the things that we teach in the program is something that I can completely relate with, and that's the knowing doing gap. You can know a lot of things. You can read so many books. You can go to so many seminars. You can do so many things, or you can know so many things, but unless you take action in a specific way, you
Yes.
may not change a lot, or it may take forever for you to see a huge change, right? And so, for example, if your goal is to go and climb Mount Everest, you can do that on your own. You can certainly do that on your own.
Right.
It's probably going to be more dangerous. It's probably going to take you much longer. It's probably going to put you in more difficult and challenging situations, or you may not be able to do it depending on the circumstances, right? But if you're really serious about climbing Mount Everest, and you hire a special person, who knows Mount Everest, who knows the best places, the safest places to camp at night, and how to properly feed yourself during the time, and how to dress yourself, and how to do all these things, and the best times to climb, and all these things, then you are going to do it in a much safer way, much faster. The whole training and actually the climb is going to go that much smoother, because you're doing it with someone who's done it before, who knows what they're doing. Same thing if you want to run a marathon. You want to find someone who has done it before, and you want to know how to train. You just can't put your shoes on and say, I'm going to run a marathon. If you've never done it before, you probably get very ill, right? And
Right.
so it's the same thing. Having someone who believes in you, having someone who sees something in you that you cannot see in yourself because of past experiences, because the story that you tell yourself, and telling you you can do it, and it's better for you to do it in this way. Take action in this way. I want you to start doing the things in this specific way every single day. And if you do that, you're going to see results. You're like, okay, it's kind of that coach, right? If you go to the gym and you've never exercised in your life, you may see results if you just climb on the treadmill, and if you do some squats and everything, you may see results at the end of 6 months. But if you hire a personal trainer who's giving you a routine every single day, and nutrition and all these things, the results that you see after 6 months are much greater. So it's exactly the same thing. It's not to say that I could have not done it alone, but doing it with someone who knows what they're doing, and it's guiding you and teaching you and holding you accountable, it's a game changer. That's one thing. And the second thing, it's the power of the community. And this is something that I learned from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said, you are an average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So I started looking around, and I'm like, well, I'm not surrounding myself with someone who may be really that beneficial for what I want to accomplish in my life, right? And so really taking inventory of those people around me. And when Jon said, well, we have a community, we have a family, and all people are like-minded, and we're vibrating high, and the calls are powerful, and all these things. And I'm like, I don't know people like that in my circle. I really don't. And if I wanted to get to know people like the people that we have in our family, I don't even know where I would look for those people outside. Like, do I go to, a business meeting? Do I chat online? Like, what do I do? Where do I find these people? Right? They're out there, but I don't know how to go and find them. And so I joined, and really, what you find is a community of people that are like-minded, that are thinking in the same aspect, that are goal-getters, that are achieving every day, that are that are taking action every day, that are holding each other accountable, that are there is a lot of collaborations that happen, collaborations of people who are like writing books and like invite you to write a book, with them. And it's like, when would I ever get these opportunities if I don't involve myself, if I don't put myself in a position where I can get invited, where I can be surrounded by people that are like-minded. And so those two things, I think, are what made the huge difference between joining a program and doing it on my own. Now, do I think I would have been able to do it on my own? Probably. Do I know that I would be as far as I am right now? Absolutely not. It would not happen that quick.
And the whole aspect of community, you touched on that. But I feel like the community that is within the Million in You is very unique. It's a very organic, unique community. Because, yes, the like-minded is there, but there is a family feeling. There is this caring and this concern and really just this mutual love that people have for each other, that, I can't knock any other communities that are out there because there's lots of great ones, but I have never found what I found in the Million in You in other communities and circles, how real and tangible everybody is, and how we really are each other's cheerleaders. There's no competition. Oh, you're a coach, I'm a coach, you stay over there. No, really, there is this unity and this camaraderie of wanting to see each other win. But the leadership here is just as incredible as the community. The leadership is touchable. We get to be with our coach, with Jon, every week, and he is available to the people. It's not that he's like, we're like the strings on the Goodyear blimp or something, right? He is so real and tangible and available to the people with his knowledge, but just being Jon, just being himself, being a real guy and being transparent and sharing his love. And that is not always the case, is it, in organizations where the leadership, and I'm talking from the leader, and then it's trickling down, that they are tangible, touchable, real in the lives of those that are within the program. And Jon has worked really hard, as you have, to create a small family feeling in a large group. And that's a challenge, but it's one that you guys have taken on, and I feel that have done a really great job of creating that small family feeling. What was the kind of the process with that, as you guys saw, like, oh my gosh, this is it, the vision, the dream is coming to pass. There's people joining, and we're not a group of 20, we're not a group of 50 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's growing, the family's growing and expanding. How do we keep that community feeling within us so it doesn't just feel like a university or this big just program? How did you guys navigate through that and come up with the ideas of open hours and mentors and inner circle? I mean, these are all things, we don't have time to go into all of them today, but you get into this program and there's so much available to you. So unpack that a little for us. How did you guys come up with all this and create this? It's beautiful.
Yeah, we always wanted to be a company that, no matter the size, no matter how many clients we get, we always have that personal touch with our clients. We
Yes.
always want to make sure that we know our clients, that our clients know us, that we have a relationship. It's not just you join a Zoom call and then an hour later you disconnect for the rest of the week. It's not about that, right? You are a person you have a goal. you have a dream.
Yeah.
We need to know what that dream is. We need to know and get involved with your goal, and we need to believe in you so you can start believing in yourself. And it doesn't happen if you're just another person. It doesn't happen if you're just another number, right?
Right.
And so it's very important for us to keep that personal touch where you know that we're available, where you know that where you can reach us really at any point. You can send us an email and we will reply to you. You can book a call with us and we will get on that call with you. You can ask for any guidance or any information, and with that, the information is going to be provided. Any help, anything like that. And not just with us, but anybody, any one of our clients is always available to help each other out, right? And so it's part of the community. And so as we're growing, we had a conversation, and I told Jon, right, if I was still a client in TIR, I want to make sure that I have a lot of touch points, that I don't feel like I'm being left behind. And that's important for not just me, but I feel like a lot of other people, especially if you're struggling as you grow, that voice in your head struggles to keep you trapped in your comfort zone, right? And so as you're growing, you're dealing with a lot of the stories, the paradigms that are showing up. And so I want to make sure that we have a lot of touch points throughout the week where people can touch base with us, where people can connect with us, where people feel like there is support, that we're available, that are reachable, et cetera, et cetera. So then we come up with the inner circle idea. And the inner circle idea, it's not only about creating more touch points for our clients, but also giving that leadership roles to clients that are graduating, that are really working with what all the tools and resources that we provided over 6 months, that have mastered everything that there is to master about like mindset. You now know the work is never over, right? No matter where you are in your life, you still want to continue to do the work. So you continue to apply the principles, you continue to do the work. But now that you know what you know how to apply the tools, you know what you should do in your life, and you're doing it and you see your life change, you can now inspire and motivate others to do the same. And so that leadership program, the Inner Circle program, came in with that idea of now being able to have students that have gone through the program teach others how to do the same thing. And it's another touch point. Now we're doing that, everything's great, and then we're still having kind of like more desire to create even more touch points for people who are having self-confidence issues, for people who want to study together, people who want to do all these things together. So we're like, okay, how can we do that? Mm-hmm. And so we start playing with the idea of creating open business hours where people are able to connect with us Monday through Friday, no matter what.
Right.
And so, okay, what are the topics that people can benefit the most? And so we came up with goal achievement, goal setting, which is the class that you lead, Pamela. And that was a huge thing because goal setting is fundamental. If you don't know where you're going, then you're never going to get there, right? And so it's fundamental. You got to have a goal. You got to know where you're going. The second thing is self-image. If you don't have a self-image, if you don't have a positive self-image, then you are really attracting more of the same of how you feel in the outside world. So if you don't feel worthy, you're never going to attract abundance, et cetera, et cetera. So huge thing. Then it was business strategy. And Jon said, I need to teach that one. He's done a lot of businesses. He's very successful. He's been an entrepreneur for years and years. And so we have a lot of clients who are entrepreneurs or who want to be entrepreneurs, and other people that want to scale their business at a greater level, et cetera, different points. And so how can we teach them not just the mindset, not just all these tools and resources to, grow on their personal level, but also on their business, scale their life, scale their income. And so we create that class. And then Friday, which is book study, of course, an opportunity to study all of the great books and hear everybody's perspective on them. And so really the idea is to create as many opportunities for people to connect with us and to know that we're always available.
Yeah, and that is something that the Million in You has done a phenomenal job of. And as I have walked through some of this growth with you, one thing that I have noticed is all of the different WhatsApp groups or Google chats. You guys just there's so many of them where, the goal achievement, people stay connected during the week, the mindset mentors with that extra little touch for all those people, all of the family that is involved. Well, they are all connecting during the week. So it's not just, okay, I show up for my Monday morning class, but all throughout the week, there is a touch point through these chat groups, which is so fun and amazing. And for me as a leader there, tuning in and seeing the people networking and connecting together and serving one another and growing together is just so powerful. And that uplifting of each other and uplifting of the program is really, really special, because honestly, I don't ever hear any competition. I don't ever hear about, yeah, well, what they're doing over there, or people vying for positions with each other. It is simply servant leadership, and being each other's cheerleaders, sitting on the front row of everybody's movie, their life, and watching them succeed is so amazing. I'm so glad that you're here and you're sharing this. And I have one more question for you before we start to wrap up. Being a mom of 6 myself, I have to circle back to this, because being in this program changed my relationship with my children. And my relationship with my kids is good. It's always been good. But all of a sudden, there was a greater empowerment for me to them. And they notice it. And they changed their talking. They changed their thinking. Today, they literally all made their vision boards today, Fernanda, for 2022. And I sit there and just like I get emotional, like I tear up, because when your 12-year-old comes to you, and things that they're putting on their vision board is not like, oh, I want a new this toy, or whatever, or hey, I want to meet just this YouTuber, and that's fine. They're kids. That kind of stuff is going to be on there, right? But to really hear them say things that are going to impart and change their lives, like that their brains go there, it's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for that. And so looking across the board at all of their vision boards, and our son, Fernanda, he not only made his new one, he came and he showed me his one for 2020 and 21. And he had crossed off all the stuff that had manifested this last year for him. And he was showing me, Mom, look, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And he was like, wow, it all happened. It all happened. And then the 2 things that were not crossed off, he just picked those up and just plopped them over on the one for 2022. How encouraging is that? So you said that your relationship with your children had changed 180. So that's a big change. And so for parents out there, or grandparents, or whoever is listening, share with us what this program did for you and this mindset change did for you and your children.
I think it's probably one of the most important parts of working on self-development for yourself, personal development, because the kids, your kids, are always watching. So it's not what we tell them, it's how we act, it's what we do that they're observing. They're always watching, they're always absorbing, right? And so I really believe that when they see you investing in yourself, when they see you taking the time to write your goal, when they see you taking the time to be grateful, when they see how you act around different scenarios and circumstances in your life. For example, if something stressful happens, how are you reacting, right? Are you reacting? Are you responding? What's going on? Are you allowing external circumstances to really dictate how you feel and how you act? How are you communicating, right? How are you communicating as far as, like, for example, abundance? Oh, I don't have money to pay the bills, or I know that the universe always provides. I am abundant, right? And so how are we acting? How are we communicating? How are we behaving? What kind of actions are we taking every single day? And so the kids are always watching. And so when we are able to teach the future generation really to that they are the owners, that they are in control, full control of their lives from an early age, 10, 15, even 20 years old, I mean, imagine how much easier the rest of their life is, knowing that they're fully responsible for everything that happens to them, that they are not victims of their environment like most of us grow up to believe. You know, oh, there's the economy is bad, oh, there is a pandemic, or there is all kinds of things, or you know, the government made a decision and so everybody gets affected. No, no, it doesn't happen like that. It happens because you believe it's going to happen. But once you know that you have ownership, that you take ownership, that you're in the driver's seat, that only you can control the circumstances that happen in your life and nobody else controls those circumstances, then it's a game changer. Really, you become the designer, the owner, the creator of your own destiny. And so giving that power to a 10-year-old to know that they're not victims, that they are always in control, and they can design their lives based on however they want to design it. I think it's the most powerful, the most impactful job that we can do as parents. And
I
so
love that.
keeping that into consideration, when I started doing the work, I started changing me, right?
Yeah.
I'm working on myself. I am improving how I feel, how I think, how I act, how I behave. I'm doing all these different things, taking action in a different way every single day. And so I also truly believe that the vibration that you give out is the vibration that comes back to you,
Mhm.
right? When I was depressed and anxious and everything, that was the vibration that I gave back. So I really feel like my kids felt like living with me was like walking on eggshells, which is not fair, right? But that was the vibration that I was giving out, and I didn't know any better. So when I started really working on myself and being calm and collected and taking a minute and not reacting but responding to what was going on around me and really having confidence in myself and knowing that everything was going to work out and all these things really make my feels feel my kids feel at ease, like
Yes.
everything's okay, everything's gonna be okay, right? So my kids would come from school and they would tell me different scenarios, and then I would be able to respond to them with a different way, right? Oh, that kid did this to me and he made me feel this way. You can control how you react, you can control how you feel, you know, only you are in control of your emotions. And so I started teaching my kids that everything that I was learning as well, right? About goal setting, about their emotions, about their thoughts, about mindset, about all these things. And so they start applying the same concepts. And that alone, Pamela, I mean, that alone, to me, it's priceless.
Yes.
It's like the investment that I made by joining John's coaching. If I would have only gotten that out of it, that would have been like I would have felt that I was paid tenfold,
Right.
you know. And so as I was changing and I saw that my kids were also responding to me in a different way because of my vibration that I was giving to them also, then our relationship strengthened. You know, and I have a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old boy, and they are complete like mama's boys, right? And right now, more than ever, our relationship is strong. We communicate in a completely different way. We act around each other in a completely different way. Like we live in harmony, and it's beautiful. And so it is the most impactful thing that we can do really is impacting our children.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that is so beautiful. And you think about that as parents, we're gifted with these little beauties, and they don't come with an owner manual that says how to do right. So to have this knowledge and to be able to empower them, and
Mhm.
especially in the day we live in, absolutely priceless. And to have that closeness with them is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
So powerful.
Beautiful.
You said earlier, and I wrote this down so that I would remember to circle back to it as we're finishing here. Start working on you, and things will align. And you have absolutely demonstrated that with all the different stories that you've told us. For that person out there right now that's going, like, my life is upside down cake, it's a mess, I don't know how I could never, no, it just won't happen to me. That's great that it happened for you. I mean, geez, Fernanda, you had this great job, and you could afford it, and I'm homeless or whatever. What would you say to that person that's listening right now that says, "Boy, I'd love to do that, but I just don't know how. I just can't. I don't even know where to start." And then, would you end on letting us know, let the viewers and listeners know, how do they find you guys? Where do they go so they can learn more?
Of course, of course. I want to start off by saying that I came to the States with my mom as a young child, and she had only one like bag. We had one piece of luggage, right? And she came with two teenagers. I was 13 when I first arrived. Didn't know the language. We literally came with one hand in front and one hand in the back. Like we really didn't have anything, right? And so going from that to finding out that I'm pregnant at 17, I was still in high school. I was working at a fast food place, so making completely, like, absolutely minimum wage at the time. And then finding out that I'm pregnant, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to take care of this baby? And I still did not speak the language. I told my parents about my pregnancy, and my parents were absolutely, completely upset, because, in their mind, I had ruined my life. In their mind, I had just become another statistic, another young Hispanic teen mom who is going to work in a factory for the rest of her life. And so it's not about the circumstances that you are in right now. You can be working at a minimum wage job. You can be unemployed. You can be homeless. You can be in a bad relationship. You can be sick. You can be in a depressive state. You can be in the probably one of the worst places. But if you don't do anything today, if you don't take a different action in the now, nothing changes in the future.
Yeah.
If you continue to think, act, behave, and operate just as you did yesterday and the day before and the day before, you're going to continue to get more of the same. And so when I was 17, I had no idea about this information. As I mentioned before, I just came across all of these things about 2 years ago. I had no idea about anything mindset related or anything, but what I had was determination. People would come to me and they would say, you just became another statistic. You wasted your life. You ruined your life, right? And in my mind, it was like adding fuel to the fire, like the fire in me of saying, I'm not going to give you that desire of like seeing me broken down and working at a factory for the rest of my life. I'm going to do something of myself. And so I'm going to make something of myself. And so that desire kind of pushed me. And that was my goal. My goal was to become someone so I could give my son a different life. So without knowing about goals and the importance of goals or anything, I had a goal. And I had something that was pushing me to take different action every single day. So if you are unemployed, if you are homeless, if you are sick, if you are not in the best place, if you have a dream, make that dream a goal. Put a date to it. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to accomplish? What is that desire? What is that thing that lights up your heart? And once you have an idea of something that you want to do, do you want to sing? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to open up business? What is it that you want to do? And once you have an idea and you start taking action in a different way, even if it's a small action every single day, small action every single day comes up, to be huge results at the end. Yes. I have a thing where I think if you are only improving by 1% every single day, that's it, 1% every single day. In 180 days, you're 180% better than what you are now, right? And so I did that at the age of 17. I didn't know how I was going to ever make it, and I never took a penny from anyone to help me. I was starving. I was down to 90 pounds, but my kid always had food. He always had diapers, and I always found a way, because I knew that I was going to make it no matter what. And I ended up graduating with a lot of struggles, but I ended up graduating. And finally, I was able to provide for my son in a much easier way. But it was years of struggle, right? And so no matter where you are today, if you're taking action, if you make a decision that no longer is going to be your life, that you no longer are going to allow being homeless, or the government, or your physical condition, or your mental conditions, or anything like that dictate your future. If you
Right.
make a decision and you follow it with action, things are going to change. If you are changing, if you change you, things around you change. It's impossible for things to stay the same if you are changing, if you are becoming someone different. Work on your attitude. That's something that you can do, and it doesn't cost you a thing.
Right.
So if you show up with a better attitude, if you show up with a wonderful attitude, if you show up with a positive attitude every single day, you are attracting more of the same. If you think that the world sucks, the world is going to suck. But if you think the world is kind and nice, and it's, you are participating, and you are in conjunction with everything in the world, and everything's in harmony, then you're going to become more in harmony with your life. And so, little things that you can do that won't cost you a thing, right? Invest time in really thinking and becoming aware of your thoughts. Doesn't cost you a thing, but you gotta become aware. You gotta make it a point to be aware of those thoughts. Every time a thought comes in mind, like, oh, she could do it, but because she could blah blah blah. No, like we are all in this. We have all the same potential, basically.
Yes.
You're magnificent. At the base of it all, though, underneath everything, we're all the same. And so, if anyone out there can do it, you can do it too. And there is proof of success story after success story of people that grew up like in foster homes and all these things, and then make it out to become amazing, magnificent persons out in the world, making significant change. So everything starts with the mindset. How you see yourself, how you think of the world, how you think about yourself becomes your reality. So if you change that, if you make a decision, things start having or presenting with a change in your external world. It doesn't happen the other way around. If you wait for something to change outside, it's never going to happen. The change comes from within, and then you see the change without.
Wow. That was beautifully put. I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you, Fernanda. And
Thank you. Thank you.
how do people reach out to you guys and get
Yes.
involved?
So there's a couple of ways. We have our website, jontalarico.com. That's JONTALARICO.com. You can check it out. There is a lot of testimonials about what the program does and what people have been able to achieve and accomplish on the months that they spend with us, that they invest with us. So you can check out a lot of testimonials. You can find out way more about the program. You can book a call with us right from the website, and really just making a decision that even you are just going to check the website. Make a decision. Just You're not going to waste anything other than maybe 2 minutes, and it could be the best 2 minutes of your life. So check the website, find out a little bit more about the program. The other ways, in Facebook, we have a beautiful community that we are giving value to, and the community is called The Million in You. It's a group. So if you are on Facebook and you look for The Million in You, you can submit a request to be accepted into the group, and you can get tons and tons of value in that community as well. So those would be the top two places where you can find more information and connect with us.
And all of that is in the description as well. Fernanda, is there anything else that you feel like, I wish I would have said that, or I didn't bring this up? Anything else you want to say before we close out today?
I think the only other thing, of course, is I'm very grateful for you, Pamela, for the work that you're doing. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for being so involved in helping us with our mission of changing lives. And really, you're impacting in significant ways. So I want to thank you for believing in us, for believing in yourself, for taking action every day, for really investing so much of yourself, not just with us in with Jon and myself, but also with our clients, because you are making a significant impact in the world by helping us spread this message. And like we know, right, once you know something different, you can pass it along, and it becomes like a ripple effect. So people in 17 countries are impacting others, and those others are going to impact others. And
Yes.
if they have children, that they're going to impact their children. So really, it's a mission that we're changing so many lives by impacting the people that are taking a chance and investing in themselves and believing in us and really taking a chance on learning a different way of life, of a different way of accomplishing and achieving and taking ownership and control back into their lives. That's it.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of the Million in You team. It's a dream come true for me. What you guys are doing and changing the world is a very exciting opportunity. And we're world changers. And that's what we're seeing happen in the lives, one person at a time, one soul at a time. But one person then goes back and changes their world, one soul at a time, right? And it becomes a massive movement. Well, I want to thank you for being here today. And I want to thank all of you who have tuned in on the radio, on the YouTube, on the podcast. Will you do Fernanda and I a huge favor? There's a button that says like and share and comment. I think that this message needs to go viral, don't you? So push those buttons, make those comments. You don't know whose life you may be used to be a world changer, and just simply because you shared this message. So I want to leave you with this today. Make your dream your goal. Fernanda said this. Make your dream a goal and put a date to it. Start right now. Make your dream your goal. Put a date to it. Remember, you are here on purpose, with a purpose, by design and not by default. So go on out there and be the salt and the light everywhere you go. See you next week. Bye.
Ascend Above the Crowd is the newest course by Pamela Hinkle. Ascend is a self-paced email course that will come directly to your inbox and will change your mindset and your life. Each week, you will receive lessons, resources, challenges, and journal writings that will help you discover your purpose by design. It's your time to ascend above the crowd. To learn more about Ascend, go to www.purposewithpamela.com/ascend.
Pamela Hinkle is the founder of the Purpose Center. Pamela is a mindset mentor, author, speaker, minister, and transformation coach. Her weekly podcast, international radio show, and television show are a lifeline that changes lives and inspires people to discover their individual potential through realizing their purpose by design. Pamela is a natural motivator and has shown many how to find their niche and transform their lives. Although success is an uphill battle, Pamela gives the necessary strategies to flourish, cheering you on every step of the way. Pamela shares from her personal experiences, education, and life as a woman in leadership, utilizing decades of knowledge. Taking the approach of, let's have coffee and chat, she will awaken your dreams and purpose by design. Are you ready for Pamela to help guide you? Email us at purposewpamela.office@gmail.com or go to her website at purposewithpamela.com.